have you wanted to get started dancing in heels but didn't know where to start? This is something that a lot of people are really nervous to get into, but I'm going to go over and clear up all of the misconceptions and really go over everything to keep in mind to get you started on the right foot. There's so many different types of shoes out there, but they're not all great for dancing. And there's certain things that you want to look for and make sure that you get while you are getting started in your heels. Let's just take a look at the shoes we have here. What I strongly recommend is a boot to get started. What I love about the boots is you've got this lace all the way up as well as a zipper on the inside. But this is going to cover your ankle and make sure that you're really supported through your ankle, your foot. You can cinch up these laces to make sure that it fits really tightly and snugly on your foot. First of all, you don't want a shoe that's going to move around at all. So that's why I like those boots to get started. It's going to give you that ankle support and really give you a nice tight shoe. What I like about this one is the height. Notice that this isn't as tall, and I think that's really smart for your first shoe. However, I want to point out at this shoe that these little baby straps, these little guys, are not going to be the most secure strap. These little teeny straps, there's going to be more movement. Although you can use these for your dancing shoes, I recommend something like this strap after you have a little bit of experience. Let's look at this boot. Again, I like the laces. I like how good of support it is. We got our little cover here, which we'll go over in another video to protect your shoes and to protect your floors. However, what I like about these white shoes versus these red shoes is you'll notice this texture of this material. This is very glossy and it's very grippy on the pole. This is going to help you in certain moves where you're climbing, where you're going to feel that security. Something like this suede, it's very beautiful and silky smooth, but it's not going to allow you to climb that pole very well. My shoes today, again, they're a little bit taller than what I would recommend. And again, this strap is a little bit smaller than what I'd recommend for getting started. However, they do match my top, so I think that's also something to look for in a shoe. And one other thing I would recommend, if you feel overwhelmed with all of these shoes and you're nervous about getting started, I recommend a ballroom shoe, a ballroom dance shoe that's going to be low to the floor, really tight, secure grip on your foot, and it's going to allow you to get used to dancing on your toes. But as you're learning how to dance in heels, it's really learning how to dance on your toes. The biggest thing that we're going to focus on is strengthening our ankles and our feet so that we have really, really strong ankles and feet to keep us high on our toes while we're in our heels. Feel free to just dance barefoot, doing all of these things until you feel ready to throw on those shoes. So our heels technique is really all about that alignment and engagement of the right foot muscles. Let's first look at proper alignment without our heels. When we're standing, we want those feet parallel underneath our hips, and you're going to be engaged with the base of the big toe, base of the pinky toe, and the center of your heels. Equal weight between both feet, between the front and back of the foot. Maybe a little bit more in your heels when you're standing flat foot. So after we have our feet set up, we're gonna unlock those knees, add that softness to the knees, make sure the kneecap is facing forward over the toes, and look at the pelvis. We want it in a neutral position. Long, low back. The front dimple and the back dimple are exactly opposite each other, horizontal. I don't want to be in that forward dominant tilt or that posterior tilt. Nice neutral tilt, stack those shoulders up, stack the head up. I'm in my standing alignment. So once I'm in that alignment and I raise my toes, it typically has to shift in my body somewhere. And a lot of times when we wear heels, we get this sort of dominant anterior tilt that puts an arch and compression in our low back, and it throws off our center of gravity. Yeah, it looks sassy pushing the hips out, and you can definitely play with that while you're dancing. But if we want to stay balanced and in alignment, we want to drop that down, keep that neutral pelvis, and that happens with a softness in the knees. I call these Barbie legs. Barbie's always ready to rock those high heels, and she has a softness in her knees. She's ready to go, we're ready to go. All right, let's go ahead and put those heels on. So now we're standing in our heels. I recommend being close to a pole where you can catch yourself and get your balance. I want to share a personal story of how humbled I was by heels my first time. I went in pretty confident thinking that I could wear heels no problem and dance no problem because I had been a salsa dancer for so long. However, when I put on my first pair of platforms and stood up and sat there for half a second, I literally fell back to the floor on my butt. So I was very humbled and realized, oh, these aren't salsa shoes. There's a very specific technique to this. And so make sure you've got that pole right there. Once we're standing, notice how when you're raised in your toes, it does change the positioning of your pelvis. What we're going to do is go into what I call Barbie legs. We're going to soften the knees. We're up on our tippy toes. Make sure those heels are lifted just a little bit. Soft knees. And we've got that pelvis in neutral position. I've got a really long back here, and my center of gravity is over both toes. I'm going to have that softness in my knees. Try not to think about locking your knees as you're dancing and moving in heels. We want to keep those shock absorbers and keep those knees soft and keep those heels lifted. When we're flat feet, we want all three aspects of our foot engaged. When we're on our heels, we want that inside aspect engaged. So my energy is going in to that base of the big toe, and then I'm pulling up from there. From there, I've got seamless ability to pivot, and I've got lots of control and balance. As soon as those heels go down, and if I put weight on those heels or weight on the pinky side of my foot, that's very problematic. There's that easy shift out, and especially in a shoe like this, that can be very damaging to your ankle or to your foot. So again, bring that energy in, put it onto that base of the big toe, soft knees. We're ready to rock and roll. Once you've got the right shoe for you and you're set up and ready to go, let's start moving and dancing in those shoes. Once you are standing and you're on your tippy toes with those soft knees, neutral pelvis, here we go. We're gonna extend up that inside arm. Shoulder is pulled down. We're gonna anchor that in. I can also use two hands for this if I want that security. Soft knees. From here, you're going to lean that energy out, and notice I'm going to be on my tippy toes. I'm pivoting on the toes. My heel is not touching, and I can gently drag the foot from here. Now, when we drag our foot, notice I can drag it right over the top. I notice that can actually wear out the top of our shoe a little bit more, and it can be smooth, but it can be a little bit trickier to do it very smoothly. What I recommend is an outwards turn of that hip, and to turn that knee out and then drag that knee through that diamond shape. What this does is it creates a really smooth surface to slide that shoe on. It's a little bit better on that lip of the shoe. It doesn't wear it out so much. And it creates a really elegant shape with diamonding of those knees. Again, I'm not going to put down those heels if I can help it. Let's look at taking a few steps without our pole, and how do we just walk in these things? Small steps, soft knees. You're not going to take that straight leg out and heel strike. You're not going to do that. You're going to soften those knees. Think about taking it all the way to that front toe as quickly as possible. I'm not going to have heel strike in the same way, even though my heel's touching. I'm putting that energy onto the toe, and then also that energy moving up our body. We want to get those hips moving from side to side. So we're going to be walking forward. Those hips are going to be moving from side to side. And I'm taking small steps. So just practice taking small steps with and without your pole. So although we have our poles here to save us from falling and to catch us, we want to get so strong in our ankles, understand our alignment, and get really good at our technique so that we can actually move and walk and spin without the pole and feel really comfortable moving in those heels. I promise you, if you can get used to dancing in these shoes, any regular set of heels is going to be a cinch, and you're going to be walking around all day looking fabulous in whichever heel. So good luck with your heels. Give it a shot. It's an opportunity to elevate you and to create more length and space in your movement, however that looks for you, in whatever shoe that is for you. I look forward to you getting started in your heels journey. Please let us know how these tips are working for you, and be sure to tune in next Wednesday. We're going to be sharing more helpful tips to help you on your movement journey. Thank you so much.